in a playoff game. 22 three-pointers, the most threes by a Clippers team in a postseason game, and 63% from the field, the highest field goal percentage that the Clippers have ever shot in a game. Welcome to Playoff Central Live. Chris Miles here with Caron, Butler, and there's only one topic of discussion tonight, and that's our guy, Paul George, Playoff P. You heard him talking about how difficult it was mentally to play in this postseason in a bubble and how he felt like he finally broke out of it this game.
Look, I know it was definitely, a tough thing to do, enter in the bubble be on the receiving end of that. But I think that the Clippers really got more engaged because they saw the production of things around them. And what I mean by that is you look at the Los Angeles Lakers and the stamp and the disposition and the mindset that they had coming out. And you know that at the end of the day, that is pretty much the measuring stick. That's what you want to do. And as these championship teams that realistically have a shot at contending and winning a championship in this bubble, everybody just kind of re-engaged and kind of reset, and just the sense of urgency just got heightened. And I think that you saw that in the Clippers' performance tonight.
Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, first set of teammates to score both over 30 while playing less than 30 minutes in a playoff game. They scored 76 points in the first half and came out on fire. Caron, Doc Rivers said after their last loss that forced this to a 2-2 series that they didn't bring it emotionally. Well, certainly those emotions were in the right place in this Game 5.
Well, you talk about the emotions, and it is an emotional situation to be in, as Paul George talked about, and he is, their second best player on that ball club. But you talk about who did bring it, Kawhi Leonard. I think that he brings it night in and night out, shot over 60% in this ball game, and he's been extremely dominant. When you talk about the short list of guys that's on that MVP list of being in the bubble, he's definitely in the top three with his performances, and they should not go overlooked. But as collectives, I think that everybody got more engaged. We talk about Morris, PG-13, Shannon, Jackson. He left the game. He came back. You saw the different edge that they had on the defensive end and surrounding Luka and taking away his airspace and made it difficult for him tonight.
Well, Doc Rivers certainly used his best coaching techniques to get his team to be motivated for this game. Teams that win Game 5 in these series, 82% of times they go on to win that series. So when you look at Rick Carlisle, late in the third quarter, he kind of lost his cool. He got a technical foul, then got ejected. You played for Rick Carlisle, won a championship with him. You think a bit of showmanship to try to get his team together, or was he just mad at this particular situation?
I think it was a combination of all things, but to get the guys engaged, and then also, he noticed that the Dallas Mavs were struggling. They really were. And, they wasn't getting a favorable whistle at that time. And, he demanded that be addressed. And, he got thrown out the game, and that was a deflating situation. I thought that was the moment right then that the Dallas Mavericks really realistically did not have a chance. Now, granted, the Clippers was up majority of this game and kind of blew out them in the second half specifically. But I think that with the health of Luka going forward, that's super concerning. With the health of Porzingis, if he's able to play in the next game, that's the biggest things of concern for me going forward. But Rick Carlisle will make the necessary adjustments.
Well, let's talk Luka. Those historic numbers, the last time in Game 4, that big shot over Reggie Jackson, 43 points, 17 rebounds, 13 assists, back down to earth, 22, 8, and 4 in Game 5. He didn't really look to be the Luka Doncic that he was in Game 4. Do you think that ankle injury hampered him more in this Game 5 than it did in Game 4?
I do. I think he's hobbled a little bit. Offensively, he's doing so much. His player usage with the basketball, going downhill, creating opportunities for the shooters and Hardaway and Seth Curry and Burke, so many others. I think that a lot is relied upon him, and he's playing hobble. So if you get Porzingis back out there to assist in that process, which we don't know that the health and what's his availability or if he's going to be able to play. But if he's able to give it a go and you add that to the mix, the Dallas Mavericks are still in this series. But if Luka is hobbled and they're trying to identify him in mismatches defensively as well, where he's not resting on that end of the floor because they know that he is a little hobbled, and they try to hold him accountable on the defensive end of the floor. Now he's drained. He's a little more tired. His legs are not underneath him in jump shots. You see it in the free throws and things like that. And that could be draining and tiresome throughout a series.
Well, Kristaps Porzingis, clearly an exceptional player for the Dallas Mavericks. According to Jared Greenberg, Kristaps got hurt in Game 1, but he played Games 2 and 3, sat out Games 4 and 5 now. Do you think there's a sense of urgency for the Mavericks to say, okay, you were able to play in Games 2 and 3. We need you back for this game before we're eliminated?
Well, you know, Casey is over there, and Casey is the head medical guy with the training staff for the Dallas Mavericks, and they're not going to risk anything considering his history from a medical side. He came there. He was nursing an injury coming back. He recovered properly, and they're thinking big picture. These two guys, when you talk about Luka and Porzingis, are the future of the Dallas Mavs organization. But if he's able, with no structural damage, and he's able to give it a go, you best believe in a win or go home scenario, he's probably going to be out there on that platform, giving it his best effort. And not just to mention, you know, Luka did the exact same thing. He twisted the ankle, which everyone saw. That's why his performance last game was so, you know, historical. And he's still giving it a go as he's hobbled. So that would put a lot of pressure on Porzingis to possibly give it a go as well.
Doc Rivers got the win that he so much desired for the LA Clippers. Last time we saw him in a press conference, he was angry, to say the least. Let's see his temperament now.
Hey, Doc. I wanted to ask you about the defensive adjustments against Luka. Tonight you guys did a bit of trapping on the sidelines and above the arc. Wanted to ask what went into that decision and how you thought that went.
I thought it went well. I mean, it's just overall the intensity defensively was so much more attentive. You know, through the series, we've made just a lot of game plan mistakes with our switching, with our trapping. We actually did trap them in games previous. It was just so poor, it was hard to notice. I thought Rex and Ty, Luke, both of them just did a terrific job just game planning and mixing it up. We didn't just have one coverage, which I thought was important. You know, I just thought we played harder and we played right and we played with a great spirit.
Next is
Hey, Doc. Paul just said in the post-game interview that he was in a pretty dark place these last 3 games and having trouble adjusting to the environment of no fans in the game. I was wondering, did you notice that? Did you see any of that? And also, you said you would comment about the Jacob Blake situation, how you truly felt about it after the game.
Yeah, you know, this is not a normal environment. Okay, it just isn't. But it's good. Like, the NBA has done a terrific job. But Lou made a great point. Like, you know, you lose a lot of games, and the game the other night was tough. Usually you go home to your family. You go home. Here you go back to your rooms, and you're with each other, and then you actually see the other teams. And it's just a strange thing, man. I tell you, it's just different. And I thought our guys are great, though. Like, you know, PG and I sat in my room after the game, and we just had a long talk. Not all about basketball, really. And, you know, several players did it. Guys were knocking on his door. You know, this team's, you know, we're growing still. You can see it. We've not had the normal time together like most teams. And so, like, things like that, they happen. And I thought our guys are just proud of all the players. As far as the other situation, it's just so sad. You know, what stands out to me is just watching the Republican convention, and they're spewing this fear, right? Like, all you hear is Donald Trump and all of them talking about fear. We're the ones getting killed. We're the ones getting shot. We're the ones that we're denied to live in certain communities. We've been hung, we've been shot, and all you do is keep hearing about fear. It's amazing to me why we keep loving this country and this country does not love us back. And it's really so sad. Like, I should just be a coach. And it's so often reminded of my color. You know, it's just really sad. We got to do better. But we got to demand better. Like, we got, you know, it's funny. We protest and they send riot guards, right? They send people in riot outfits. They go to Michigan with guns and they're spitting on cops and nothing happens. The training has to change in the police force. The unions have to be taken down in the police force. My dad was a cop. I believe in good cops. We're not trying to defund the police and take all their money away. We're trying to get them to protect us, just like they protect everybody else. I didn't want to talk about it before the game because it's so hard, like, to just keep watching it. That video, if you watch that video, you don't need to be black to be outraged. You need to be American and outraged. And how dare the Republicans talk about fear? We're the ones that need to be scared. We're the ones having to talk to every black child. What white father has to give his son a talk about being careful if you get pulled over? It's just ridiculous.